Have you ever noticed people calling you strong, but you don't feel strong? You feel tired. You feel overwhelmed. You feel emotionally drained. You feel like you're carrying more than you should. But everybody keeps saying, you're so strong. Can I be honest? I think sometimes we've confused survival with strength. Hey y'all, it's Cam. And today I want to talk to the people that everybody depends on. The people who never ask for help. The people who always figure it out. The people who keep showing up, even when they're running on empty. Because somewhere along the way, people started calling you strong. And eventually, you started believing that meant you had to carry everything by yourself. But what if you're not strong? What if you're just surviving? Think about it. Some of us didn't become independent because we wanted to. We became independent because life trained us to be. Maybe people let you down. Maybe every time you reached out, nobody answered. Maybe every time you trusted somebody, they disappointed you. Maybe you got tired of waiting for help that never came. So eventually, you stop asking. You stop expecting. You stopped depending on anybody but yourself. And people started calling that strength. But sometimes it's just survival. Here's the part that hit me. When you've been surviving for a long time, help starts feeling uncomfortable. Somebody offers to help, and your first response is, nah, I got it. Not because you actually have it, but because you're afraid they'll let you down if you don't. So you carry everything. You overfunction, you overthink, you overgive, you overextend. Not because you enjoy it, but because you've convinced yourself it's easier than being disappointed again. And here's the dangerous part. People start expecting it. They stop checking on you because you always handle it. They stop asking if you're okay because you're the strong one. Meanwhile, you're exhausted. Not because life is necessarily harder than everybody else's, but because you stopped letting anybody help you carry it. And maybe you don't even know how anymore. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable it feels when somebody genuinely wants to help you? Instead of feeling relieved, you feel guilty. You feel like you're bothering them. You feel like you should have figured it out. That's not strength. That's what survival mode teaches you. Survival mode tells you, don't depend on people. Don't need people. Don't expect too much. Don't let your guard down. And after enough years, you stop recognizing the difference between being independent and being isolated. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being capable. There's nothing wrong with being responsible. There's nothing wrong with handling your business. But there's a difference between being capable and believing you have to carry everything alone. God never intended for us to do life alone. Yes, we're called to be strong, but nowhere does strength mean refusing support. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit you're tired. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let somebody pray for you. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say, I need help. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you honest. And maybe that's where healing begins. Not when you become stronger, but when you finally stop believing you have to prove how strong you are. Because here's the truth. People call you strong, but they don't always see what it costs you. They don't see the tears after everybody goes home. They don't see the anxiety. They don't see the nights you're lying awake trying to figure everything out. They don't see how heavy it gets. They just see that you survived. But surviving isn't the same as living. So if this episode is speaking to you, I want you to ask yourself one question. Am I really strong, or have I just gotten used to carrying things that were never meant for me to carry alone? Think about that. If this episode hit home, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, has life made you independent, or have you finally learned it's okay to let people in? This is Sass with Faith. Real talk, real faith. And I'll see you in the next one.